Welcome back and good evening. Welcome to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How's everybody doing out there? Are you freezing? Are you fucking cold? We're about in 60 right now, but apparently right now between Tampa tomorrow afternoon to evening, in between Sunday, it's going to snow here. It hasn't snowed here in 50 years. What the fuck is going on? Those weather machines, they're operating really big because you know why? The Epstein files have been dropping left and right. So they got to cover up, freeze your ass, kill the power. How many, like a million people without power across the United States? Nashville getting hammered, many different areas. What up, my niggas? Surf Dog speaking hard truths. Welcome in pill.net. Welcome in Rumble, and hello on YouTube. Yes, we are on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Please share and subscribe. I'm also, if you want to support the platform, you go buymeacoffee.com/wearerise. You could do that on any platform you're on. Let me introduce my co-host, Marshall Smith. What's going on? How you doing?
Well, it's going to be the weekend of falling iguanas and frozen frogs.
Yeah, the day after.
It's gonna flood, man.
The day after. That's what we're going to dig ourselves out of. How much snow? What's the prediction on the poly market for the snow?
What's that?
What's the prediction on the poly market? I bet I don't really bet, ladies and gentlemen, anymore. I don't gamble anymore. I don't do all those horrible things. I have to say though, I was very tempted to want to bet on how much snowfall we'll get in Tampa. I mean, believe me, the numbers are all over the place. 5 to 2 odds that we get snow. That's going to be shocking, Marshall. Go ahead.
We're supposed to get 8 inches in Virginia Beach, where I'm from. So
what does that have to do with what I'm saying? You just went from we're going to Virginia Beach. You don't even live in Virginia Beach. Who gives a fuck about Virginia Beach?
My brother still lives there.
Well, then move back there, because I just asked you a question and you simultaneously fucking just moved it out into the moon and said, well, Virginia Beach. And I'm like, I just said 5 to 2 odds that are being on book sites.
3 inches.
In Florida, in Tampa. Come on. 3 inches, and is it going to stick? You have a better chance jerking off in the lawn to get that to stick than the snow that's going to come down here. But I digress.
It's going to snow. I'm telling you.
Oh, my God.
You're going to be out there.
This guy's got an attention deficit order. He doesn't listen to anything I'm saying. That was funny. I'm sorry. I'm just playing. What's going on? I guess we got a raid. Woke Societies. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Thank you, Scott. Great guy. Love his stream. A lot of great people. Everybody, welcome into the We Are Rise show. We're just messing around right now. We just started the show.
By the woke guy.
I'm sorry?
I got distracted by the raid there.
The raid's great every time it is, but we thank you. We appreciate it. Scott's fantastic. Love him. Always on top of this stuff. Gets it. And I love a lot of his people that want to, percolate around. So welcome in. Let's get to the show tonight. Tonight's show, the Cloaked Parasite. This is in regards to the Federal Reserve choosing a new Fed chairman. And we're going to get into that. The Epstein burnout. I'm burnout. But the burnout from Epstein today, the 3 million file drops, all this other crazy stuff. Mega ICE rising, not MAGA, mega. They're building ICE buildings and facilities, detention centers across the United States. Remember that was going to be done using Walmarts for American citizens and patriots? How interesting that dimensional shift has changed. Something happened before 2012, and then we flipped the script when we were going to be put in there, and now the illegal criminal alien scum. So to all you haters, all you people think that nothing's going to get done, yes, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. And Sarah Lemmings, we'll get to, Don Lemon. And you know what? This is a good thing that Don Lemon was arrested. He's been released. I think it's important. This sends a message to all the journalists out there that helped steal the election in 2020, the agit-prop propagators, all the people that sold the perception management lie. Good luck. Good luck. Your ass is on the line. So you think Don Lemon's not a journalist. He doesn't work for any news nor organization. So I don't know what he thinks. He could call himself independent, but going through a church and being part of some type of seditious acts to upend, uproot, and to attack people while they're worshiping, it's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And he got what he deserved. So welcome in Pill.net. Hello on Rumble. What's up, True Terran? Let's say hello to people out here. I mean, there's just a ton of people. Thank you, Thea, for the 1,700 gold pills. I won't be with you tonight, but love to my Patriot family. Yes, I understand she had just put down her fur baby. So prayers, support, love, and wishes to Thea. She's going through some hard times. I went through it. I mean, hell, for 6 months, I was living out of a bottle. That's how broken up I was. So my heart, my sympathy, my love, and support. I understand what it is to have to either put down your fur baby, lose it. It's traumatic. And people that really give a shit in life, love their pet animals, love everything. That shows you who they are. And they would rather what? Have cry over, sympathize, empathize, whatever. I don't care about that. But what I'm saying is they'd rather support, they'd rather be a part of that world culture than third world scum. Okay? Because they're not here in any way of some good faith. They're here to make our lives better. Okay? Quintesson, that's a new name. Obviously, you came in on from the raid from Woke Societies. Thank you so much for the shades. I really appreciate it. That's very kind. So let's get into tonight's show.
I want to say to Thea.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. What's up?
Good luck to Thea. Just stay strong, Thea.
Absolutely.
I know how you feel. I've had dogs all my life.
Yep.
My dog right now is 16.
16.
So,
this guy's living on borrowed time.
I mean, but she's getting around good so far. Everything's okay, but
yeah,
I don't look forward to it.
16. Jack Russell's lived that long?
They live up to 24. 24.
Get the fuck out of here. They live longer than freaking some cube.
Yeah, they tend to live. Smaller dogs in general live longer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what? That's a full life, man. So, yeah, when you get a dog that gets lymphoma, cancer, it's very disheartening. I mean,
I had it happen.
I had to put my other dog down. He had, my other Cavalier, he had the enlarged heart, the myocarditis. It was brutal. We hired a vet to keep him alive. We probably shouldn't have done that. Expanded his life cycle that we shouldn't have. And I hope that I didn't make him suffer. But when it came time, man, I remember the next evening, I was like, hit my head in an empty bottle of scotch, just trying to fucking. I was just so angry with myself, angry with the situation, and I was broken. I was totally broken. So I can obviously feel your pain, Thea, and anybody else who's gone through it. I share with you on that. I really do. And whether it's cats, dogs, fur, animals are different from humans. They really are. It's completely different in some way. It really is. And I don't know how to express it and make a delineation, a separation of what it is, but there's something different. I don't have children. I'm older, so I don't have children. I got married older, so I wasn't able to go that route at that time. I didn't even think that I was going to get married. So when I really look at these things and see people who they are and where they are in these frustrated times and stuff, man, there's a calling. What's up, Curious Cat? Thank you for the cookie. Good evening. Let's go. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the red pill. Hit the bell to be notified. If you want to support the platform, you already know what to do on pill.net. You can help us out on Rumble, buymeacoffee.com /We Arise, or you can help out my co-host, Marshall Smith. You can go to ko-fi.com/surfdog74. So let's get into the big news today. I didn't really want to, let's just say, I'm going to go through this. I might skip a lot. Marshall knows, I got a shit ton of stuff. But, I want to go over talking about this. And I don't know what this is. Here comes Kevin Walsh. Welcome back. Breitbart News Digest Weekly Wrap-Up puts this out. He's a former Bush White House economic official to succeed Jerome Powell as Fed chair. That's a mouthful right there. We had trade data that the legacy media tried to describe as showing tariffs are bad, even though the report showed significantly lower trade deficits, and we're approaching the anniversary of an important event. Here we go. Kevin Walsh, the comeback kid. long-awaited nomination for the next head. Apparently, Kudlow came out and gave him his hat tip. There's a lot of people that like this guy. I don't know what this means for the next head of the Federal Reserve. Right Friday morning, the nod has been given. Straight out of central casting, ladies and gentlemen. What does that mean to you? You already know what central casting is. Was this person picked out of some scenario to be plucked in here to help what? Take down the cloaked parasite, which I call the Federal Reserve, the crime syndicate, to replace the heads of the people, to make sure that the envelopment, the shrouding, the engulfment, the veiled, let's just say, circumstance that it represents. Is it already done? I'm not really sure. I always said that the Fed will have some inclination by the end of the year where the Fed is. But notice that silver and gold dropped 35%. Is that a warning sign? Is that a harbinger? What are we looking at right now? Is that to stabilize the dollar? We have to really consider all these things. He served as a Fed governor in 2006 through 2011, elevated to the central bank by George Bush. During the financial crisis, he gained reputation as being a hawk on inflation and in rates. He was one of the final candidates under consideration for the Fed's job during Trump's first term. Yeah, he was picked as number 2. In recent years, Walsh has been critical of mission creep at the central bank, warning that its own view of its own remit had expanded too far. Okay. He's also supportive of the Trump administration's plans to deregulate the banking industry. I can get along with that. There are concerns Walsh may be too hawkish to support President Trump's economic policies. I don't know what that means necessarily. We'll have to wait and see. Renaissance Marcos Nelduta, one of Wall Street's economists who has frequently backed the president's critical view of the recent Fed policy, was disappointed with the pick. We see everyone's least favorite candidate, Kevin Walsh, is poised to lead the Fed, part of President Trump's appeal to many voters. I don't know what voters even know who this fucking guy is. That's why the nomination of Walsh is so perplexing. Republican positions on trade, immigration, social insurance. We'll see. Someone that sees inflation and a material threat as he did during the GFC, the unemployment rising 10%. He's also known on Wall Street for 3 things. First, no one knew who the hell he was. Exactly. When Bush first would name him as governor, Trump did. Second, he was relentlessly hawkish on inflation as unemployment spiked throughout GFC. Third, all he's done since his time at the Fed is critique the QE. All right, I'm going to move on. I don't want to get it too wonky because I got other stuff in here and stuff. Let me move on in this. Daily Signal put this out. And they highlighted, ladies and gentlemen, they highlighted central casting. So what does this tell you? This is their title. I think it has sufficient reasoning and rationale. Central casting. Trump picks a next Fed chair. President Trump has chosen Federal Reserve Board Kevin Walsh as the next chair. Known Kevin for a long time, blah, blah, blah. The president has previously said that he expects the next Fed chair to lower interest rates. That's the question. Will he do it? Probably. How much is the interest rates are going to drop? I said it's going to drop 1.25%. I do believe so with the introduction in this, but that doesn't mean things are going to change. I am concerned in some way that silver went back to about, 75, 76, 79. Gold's about under 4,400 when it hit 5,200. So the question is, what was the pullback? What's this about? Trump was reportedly choosing between Walsh and Fed Chair Chris Waller, BlackRock Chief Investment Officer of Global Fixed Income Rick Ryder, and National Economic Director Kevin Hassett. And I'll get to him in a second. Walsh is a Shepherd Family Distinguished Visiting Fellow in Economics at the Hoover Institute and the lecturer at Stanford Graduate of Business. Following the 2009 crisis, he was there. Walsh was skeptical of cutting rates in November in 2010. Federal Open Market Committee meeting. Walsh expressed concerns of the Fed's plan to stimulate the economy, lowering long-term interest rates. So this is a guy who's basically saying, look, we can keep a little inflation, but lower the rates. That's the most important thing. In fact, we can go over 3%, maybe even 4 to 5% with some inflation if the rates lower. Now, the question is, how far are we willing to go? I think maybe we can normalize between 3.5% to 5%. Is that what they're talking about? It's possible. But most recently, Walsh has criticized Powell for being too hesitant to lower the interest rates. He told Fox Business Kudlow the program in July that had some sympathy for Trump being frustrated with how Powell is handling interest rates. No, this is a sizable, well, let's just say, structural move. What it is that Powell was showing the dominance or predominance of the Federal Reserve. And by removing him and certain, let's just say, carte blanche actors inside of that and putting somebody in that would envelop this in some way, as we know Scott Pacent has talked about, we could see these pullbacks in a lot of ways. But the investigation of the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell is incoming. And that will say a lot as we go forward. Economic growth in the U.S. is poised to boom, but it's being held by bad economic policies. So what are we to expect to see? We understand now is that this is central casting. We all know what that means. This was an established character actor put on stage, moved into a position to take over and control this institution, this dark, devious, cloaked parasite, I call it, in so many ways. When does this change everything, or is this just moving pieces around? Have we already enveloped, Marshall, shrouded, engulfed the Federal Reserve? I mean, is it done completely yet? I mean, was this motioning, gesturing, winking? Was this hat tipping? Has President Trump, because I got more to go on this to show you what he was saying, by saying that, hey, this is in some way this type of discussion we go through, central casting, is that this guy is there to fill a position that we put him there, and it's temporary, and he's an actor. He's not really real. It doesn't mean anything. What's your thoughts about all this?
That's what I think. That's what I think. When they highlight that, it tells me he's there for one of two things. And I think the latter on this is going to be where it's going.
Right.
He's either there for first one is to see the slow dismantling of the Fed as it exists now.
From the inside.
Right. Yeah. Or, which is what I lean to, that he's there to see it morph and to direct its change into something completely different.
With the other prevailing governors involved in this simultaneously, because is that what he's trying to do? Is what he's trying to orchestrate and facilitate, is bring the other governors into the fold? Or has it already been captured in this way, and he's trying to, in some way, redress these anomalies that a lot of people are not really witnessing? President Trump selected Walsh, new Fed chair. I have mixed feelings. This is MJ Truth. He's married. He's married to Jane Lauder, the daughter of Ron Lauder, the president of the World Jewish Congress. Just recently, Ron Lauder, this is Estee Lauder, ladies and gentlemen, sent a warning to every potential American first candidate wishing to run for Congress. If you do not support Israel, if you support platform you support, we deem anti-Semitic, we will target you. This is who he elected. He also said Nazism is rising again. The United States and Tucker Carlson's leading effort. So this is the father speaking in this manner of the new Fed chairman. So that's something to consider. I don't know what that means. I'm going to show you a couple other things. Let me skip to this.
I thought that was the father of his wife.
Well, yeah, it's the father of his wife of the Estee Lauder heiress. You know what I'm saying? It's the Estee Lauder heiress.
I personally don't read a whole lot into it, because
I don't care about that. I mean,
I think there's a whole lot of. I think what's been done, Brett, when it comes to the Israelis and the other, I think that there's, just like everywhere, there's two types. There's two kinds of Israelis. There's one that's going to go with the program, and that's America first, and then there's another that ain't that, and they're more for the other for their kind. So I think it's, I think.
Well, Trusty Turner is saying, I wish it was Pacent, but Pacent will oversee the envelopment, the shrouding, the cloaking, the unveiling of the Fed inside the Treasury. So he will be ultimately in charge. That's why it really means nothing. It's that this guy has to be put in a position for all the normie base to understand and redefine what the Federal Reserve is, an independent body outside its own, let's just say, extremities, orchestrating monetary policy with very, let's just say, lackluster discussions. Look, Jerome Powell's under investigation for multiple reasons, for fraud, for what he did about building this enterprise of a massive institution of $3 billion of a building. And not just that, all these other things. Why did he hold on for so long? We'll find out, and where this is going to go into. I think in some way, I'm just showing this. I'm not going to go through. I'm just showing you. This is what Information Liberation is saying. The Zionist billionaire father of the new Fed chairman. He said these things. Sicko is a crown jewel of Venezuela. Listen, I'm just looking. I'm showing you this. Here's Ronald Law, president of World Jewish Congress. This is the father of the new Ched Fairman. Trump is preparing to nominate Cameron Walsh, son-in-law of Ronald Law at the Estee Lauder family, member of the Bilderberg group. What do you think about that? Is he enveloping them into the Treasury? Looks like it in some way. Is he taking control of that? Is that what we're seeing? Is that what you're made to see? We're controlling the Bilderberg group. We're controlling the Federal Reserve. We're controlling the ominous, let's just say, out of control, independent, dark forces that have basically wreaked havoc on this country for over 130 years per se. So my question is, are we able to see who these people are? Have they capitulated? I don't know. World Jewish Congress, President Ron Lauder, when someone chants from river to sea, they're calling elimination of Jews. What I'm saying is, I'm just showing you the background. What are we seeing here? Is this all a facilitation or orchestration in some way? Well, Julie Donuts puts this out. This was a good thing. She had two commentaries that I said. And look, I don't want to get into this too much. Yes, Bilderberger Group. That's another point, that he has ties to these people. He has ties to the London Bank. He has ties to many organizations that we think of the deep dark, ladies and gentlemen. So when you look at him being enveloped into the fold in some way, is this corporate parasite, so to speak, being what? Being redressed at the moment. That was the point of the discussion. We are not fixing the Fed. We are eradicating it. There was a great speculation that highly respected Kevin Hassan was going to be named as chairman of the Fed, and that the great chairman, he would be out. Or be quite honestly, he is doing such an outstanding job working with me and my team at the White House that I just didn't want to let him go. Kevin is indescribably good. So as the expression goes, if you can't do better, don't try to fix it. Well, that's an interesting point in regards to the Federal Reserve. If he was the guy that they wanted to pick, knowing full well that the Federal Reserve is going to go bye-bye, why would you move the guy that you wanted so much, as you speak of, into that position? Because what you're doing is, again, you're enveloping the Federal Reserve into its own demise, its own collapse. You are basically gesturing. You're winking. As conspicuous as it all looks, as, let's just say, salacious as a lot of people saying, we don't know what's happening and stuff. The salient point to make here is that the Federal Reserve in some way is being undertaken. So what you see on a prima facie level means nothing. It's superficial. It's all about how it reflects the market on Wall Street and how things are, let's just say, acutely aware by investors, S&P, Dow Jones, and other things. That is what you need to take. For the everyday Joe Schmo, the ordinary person, the people that look into the conspiratorium that looks into this in some way, you have to think in some way, what the fuck is going on? Why pick this guy? Question is, something else has given way. Let me show you the second thing. This is President Trump, and Julie Donuts put this out as well. And I thought this was a secondary.
To use it, we will.
Mr. President, Mr. President. On the Fed, should the DOJ continue with its investigation into Jay Powell? That seems to be a sticking point for Senator Tellis.
Well, he's got a building that, I build buildings, and I build them under budget, ahead of schedule. I build them, but they're within reason always. And this is a small little complex that's costing billions of dollars, most expensive job per square foot ever built. And it's a little complex. It's a little Fed complex. I built the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue.
There you go.
And I built it for around $200 million. And it's bigger than that. They're spending.
He's hinting at the prospect, the expectation, the outlook that we should be focusing on is that the Federal Reserve is built on fraud, or what Jerome Powell has done has built it on fraud. And so there might be a dose expectation here, maybe a panoramic view from a certain viewpoint. But what President Trump is pointing out, he's alluding to what is taking place under this guy's, control that was shrouded, that was kept secret until it was revealed. $3.2 billion to build a new federal structure for this group. An independent body that takes what? Taxpayer dollars to pay for this? No, it's not going to cut it. Not going to cut it in any way. And what he is doing is alerting people to understand what the Federal Reserve is. It's not independent. All right. It's not viable. Who are these people? He's calling them out. He's addressing all the concerns about how this body gets away to do all these things. He always points out Jerome Powell's failure to lower the rates at the perfect time. Perfect illustration is because President Trump is a realtor. He's a guy that deals with real estate and home buying and selling and stuff. And interest rates play a part. He's basically saying he's always too late. Too late. They lowered the interest rates in in October, November, and December. But what? Quarter meant nothing. It's like 5 and something. It doesn't matter. It's close to 6. He basically said if he would have dropped it at least 2 points, things would have changed. But he didn't do that. And there's something off with not doing that. So the point is and stuff, why did you continue to allow this? And this is why we're going to get into the supposition or the subterfuge and maybe even the deconstruction of what the Federal Reserve is about. Because, look, if they're using our money and then charging them an interest on a variety of different other places and stuff to make sure that this type of enterprise or this mansion is built for their own sake in some way, their own onus in some way, he's questioning the validity of them. Who are they? Why are they there? How is it that they're allowed to get away with this? These are the most salient points that I heard President Trump speak about the Federal Reserve that the normies will pick up later on.
Many times that amount to do a renovation of a building. I've heard numbers as high as $4 billion. $4 billion to build a building. I could have renovated that building and fixed it up, made it beautiful for $25 million. They're going to spend close to $4 billion.
That's insane.
So it's either gross incompetence or it's theft.
There you go. And he's calling them out and saying they stole the money, charging us back interest, keeping the interest rates high to pay for this monstrosity. And then that's why we're in this fraudulent scenario, because it's not the first time they've done it. They've done this over a period of time, and that's what he's alluding to. Let me continue on.
Somebody's making money. You can't spend. It's
there you
more
go.
per square, and you have half a building there. You have the structure, you have the exterior skin that they're not changing much. They're building a building, and they're spending almost. I'm hearing numbers of between $3 and $4 billion.
Okay, that's enough. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, it is such a big. This is what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a highlight going on that Trump is showing us right now. He's showing the American people, the normies, and they're all going, why is it $4 billion to build a building next to the thing? And people are going, all the normies are going, wait a minute, what? That doesn't make any sense. And Trump is saying, hey, look, and then they're going to find out, where do they start getting really mad, Brett? When they start finding out that every gold toilet seat and every silver faucet and everything else they've done up in D.C. gets blown up in their face. And they're like, that's all the money that they've been taking out of my paycheck for all my life.
Yeah.
They're going to go crazy.
You know, I think that the understanding is right now is that, and I've said this many times, said it last year, and I do believe that we'll find by the end of the year that the Federal Reserve has completely been absorbed, been engulfed,
Yep.
enveloped into the Treasury in a lot of different ways. And then a lot of the posturing that will come out through that, we will see that. Not just that. I know that's kind of like, you know, a very striking point, but this cloaked parasite that I use as a stalking horse is because President Trump is explaining this is not the first time they've used our money, where they print money, to charge us massive amounts of interest rates on our deficit, and then they pay it back through what? This. And he's calling this out. He's shining a spotlight on this. And he's saying, I'm putting a new guy in here. All right, we're going to change our trajectory. We could be 3 to 4% inflation. We can have a certain amount of interest rate, but we want to keep it enough where people can afford mortgages. They can buy and sell property. They can do other things and stuff. And realistically, where we were in a Biden administration before that, we were at 0% interest rate, 1%, 2%. Why can't we be at 3%? So there are things there in some way. We're going to have to find out about Jerome Powell. What was he, let's just say, told to do and enacted to do from the Biden administration, and what continues on? And that's the point. Was this completely fraud? And, you know, the Board of Governors in general, how is this going to change? I don't know, but this is a big thing. But I am concerned about how much gold dropped. Gold was up 5,300. It dropped to 4,400. Silver was up at 108. It dropped to about 74, 75, 76. So the question is this rebuilding the dollar? President Trump doesn't care about this. Is this retooling Wall Street? How does this affect the markets? All of this is in play. Moving on. Justice Department releases more Epstein files 1 month after the deadline. So 30 days after the deadline, the Justice Department released mass amounts of related convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on Friday. We're going to cover it. It's a lot. I'm not going to get into too much, but it's brutal. It's brutal. It's ugly. And again, I have Epstein fatigue. I have Epstein burnout. So Todd Blanche says the DOJ is in compliance with the law of 2025 that's been put out. What's in the latest release? 3.5 million pages, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images. Some of the photos and videos are pornographic, according to him. During a press conference on Friday, which we'll get to, 3,200 documents were released. Blanche also noted that despite public expectations, there are no so-called client lists. They never existed. So this is basically destroying all the freaking influencer Xers out there that had put this out there. And you notice that it was him and not Pam Bondi. And I think that was a very smart move on their part to basically end this once and for all. And people associated with Epstein's trafficking. There's enough fucking blood in the water, enough chum for the sharks to chew on. We'll get to it. There's this built-in assumption that somehow that there's hidden tranche of information to men we don't know about, blah, blah, blah. Look, the bottom line, what was released is ugly. Is ugly. And yes, it connects to a lot of people, as President Trump said. Rightfully or wrongfully, it has. But it came out, and we're going to cover it. And here we go. I'm going to show you. This is the Times. They put this out. And I'm going to go through it because I have a little carte blanche of other people on X making comments and stuff. So I think it's a good thing. Powell's about to get fired. Yeah, well, Powell is done. He's gonna get fired. He's gonna stand down. But it's irrelevant at this point. But wait till you find out that people at the Federal Reserve were in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. It's not going to be good. Epstein files released. Trump mentioned 100 times. Okay, he's mentioned 100 times. Here we go. Let me blow this up. I don't really want to go through this too much, but I guess I have to. President Trump mentioned 100 times, blah, blah, untrue and sensationalist claims about Trump. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything that has been conspicuously or just like, strikingly heir apparent connected to President Trump. I don't buy it. I'm not going to stand by it. And that's why I don't care. I don't believe any of it. Visit him at Buckingham Palace. Epstein found, beautiful Russian to have dinner with Andrew. Epstein sent Lord Mandelson's husband $10,000. What's in the Epstein files? I mean, you have Ghislaine Maxwell. He says there's a shit ton of people that have not been prosecuted. Video clips of Ghislaine Maxwell's deposition in April and July were also released on Friday. Did Jeffrey Epstein have a scheme to recruit underage girls? I don't know what you're talking about, she answers. Another point, she says, I wasn't aware that Epstein was having sexual activities with anyone. Okay. The main takeaways. Epstein asked former Trump executive for advice. The unnamed woman, who was believed by the Times to be Guthrie, claimed she was a minor and she had worked at Trump Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Epstein's first emails to Nicholas Ribbs, the former executive with Trump's resort empire, about a girl in the newspapers that claimed he worked at Mar-a-Lago in 1998. At the age of 15, Epstein states that he was virtually sick positive, that it was a lie. Okay. President Trump said in June, Epstein stole a young woman. That was Guthrie. There you go. Gates allegations, absurd and false. Bill Gates, he has an STD, ladies and gentlemen. Gave it to his wife. That's why they splintered. The spokesperson told BBC the claims from proven disgruntled liar were absolutely absurd. All right. Bill Gates caught an STD from Russian prostitutes. If you're sleeping with prostitutes, you're not going to put a tire iron on a Jimmy. You're not going to do that. Okay. Well, there you go. Epstein alleged that a Microsoft billionaire asked him for cure medication, what appeared to be draft emails sent to him. You couldn't go to a doctor and just get some antibiotics. What'd you get? Syphilis? I mean, gonorrhea? You couldn't go to a local doctor or a specialized doctor. You had to contact fucking Epstein to get this. Why would you have to contact Epstein to get medical attention? Why couldn't you just go to a doctor and say, Doc, hey, I'm shooting shit out of my fucking dick in 5 different places, or I got foam here, or this thing is tingly, or whatever. Why do you have to contact him? These claims are absolutely absurd, blah, blah, blah. Sarah Ferguson, so proud of Epstein. Thank you for looking for me so well. I've read and devoured your email, and I'm putting it into action. I think you'll come back to you with business plans. She was begging for money. She was involved. Give me a call when you get back. 2022, Ghislaine Maxwell. Melania Trump on to say, I know you're very busy flying around the world. It was Palm Beach. I cannot wait to go. Trump and Epstein both had homes in Palm Beach. Melania's email to Maxwell wrote an email to Ghislaine Maxwell commenting on a nice story about Jeffrey Epstein she read in New York Magazine. Andrew wanted advice on Hellman investment. You had lots of privacy at Buckingham Palace, where he visited. Island with redheads or family holiday. Revelation so far. The latest tranche of $3 million docs released by U.S. Department of Justice includes further revelations about the billionaire pedophile Epstein, documents all over the place. We'll get into that. Marshall, your thoughts. I need to take a shower. I'm disgusted. Actually, I'm really disgusted because I'm going to show you some stuff that's really disgusting. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill, comments, questions, and concerns. Let's hear your thoughts and stuff. You rated the channel. You wanted to be here. So show your support if you want to watch and listen, because I got so much more. Here comes from Chief Nerd. Imagine taking health advice from Bill Gates. Wow, the Epstein emails DOJ dropped. Jeffrey sent him emails memorializing a fight he had with Bill Gates. In it, he says Bill Gates got STDs from Russian hookers and then asked Jeffrey Epstein for antibiotics. You're a billionaire. You don't have access to doctors that could secretly give you and test whatever you got. Syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes. I mean, obviously you need antibiotics. Herpes is not going to fix it.
He could take one of his vaccines.
I mean, what
Give
in
yourself
the
a vaccine, dude.
What in the fuck? Why
invented them.
Why would you need to? But the point is, why would you need to email Epstein for advice about antibiotics from getting an STD or multiple STDs from Russian hookers?
He's trying to keep it on the down low, man.
Why not go to a doctor on the down low?
Well, I mean, who knows if they're on the down low? You don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Who the hell knows?
You couldn't find a fucking doctor you pay X amount of dollars quietly to shut the fuck. Why email him?
You can be rich as shit, Brett, and still be a dumbass. That just proves that right there. And I think all this shit coming out right now, between the Fed, the shit in Minnesota, the fraud with the Fed, all of this, the fraud in Fulton County, Georgia. I think all this shit is coming out at the same time. I think it's deliberate.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I was thinking about, was the timing and an announcement and discussion with the new Fed chair simultaneously and coincidentally dropping and all the Epstein backlog, not to mention all the other stuff what happened in Georgia. That's a really good point, which I do agree with.
Well, I think it's also, all of this is meant to overwhelm their systems. Because remember, they have a system. They have their little network, their signal gate. They got their little troops. They think they're all dialed in. They got their little walkie-talkies, and they think they're. And now this is all flooding, and they don't know what to do now.
So Todd Blanche says any depiction of child pornography materials are death. Let's listen to what he said. A lot of good stuff today.
I want to address what we didn't produce. The categories of documents withheld include those permitted under the Act to be withheld. Files that contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Although the Act allows for withholding for items necessary to keep secret in the interest of national security or foreign policy, no files are being withheld or redacted on that.
Of course not. That's why Todd Blanche came out there. It was very smart for Todd Blanche to come out there and not Pam Bondi, because the 30 days behind. And you know what? Again, all the influencer cucks that are going to eat this up and stuff. There was a lot of good stuff out there for a lot of people. There's a lot of salacious stuff that is innuendo that they can't corroborate against President Trump, that is secondary and tertiary hearsay that they want to say, but that's how people make their money, and they want to continue on in that facet, and that's fine.
Hey,
I'm never gonna buy it. Hold on. I'm never gonna buy it, never gonna believe it. And that's why I have Epstein burnout or fatigue in some way. We all know that President Trump was the chief architect of being a confidential handler to reveal all allegations regarding Epstein and all subsequent people that were tied to him. So anything else that's being put out there to matriculate out to convince us that, President Trump is involved in some way, I will not, cannot buy. You just cannot prove to me anymore in some way. There would be no way that President Trump would be backed at this greatest level and to be allowed to orchestrate and facilitate in this manner if he was compromised, as they say. MJ Truth puts out Epstein files. Drug addict referred. True pundits Michael Moore alleges Bush Sr. Bill Clinton raped him on Epstein yacht while Trump and Melania watch baby dismemberment and feces eating satanic ritual. This is my point. They claimed he was raped by George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton on an Epstein yacht. Do you buy that? Ultimately, the tip was dismissed by the FBI and NYPD. Here's where it falls fast. No evidence whatsoever. Zero documents, blah, blah, blah. Heavy drug industry, repressed memories. Agents described him as emotionally unbalanced. What I'm saying is, in some way, there is a lot of stuff that you're going to see that I'm going to present. There's all stuff on X that are just out of control that you can either confirm or deny. And I think, unfortunately, where we're at this moment is the problem that we're facing. Because we have to consider how we view these things, how we see these things, and how we talk about these things. Here's another thing. Shadow Ezra put this up, and this is why I wanted to discuss the actual new Fed chairman. Epstein files reveal President Trump's newly nominated Fed chairman, Kevin Walsh, is mentioned in a heavily redacted email sent to Jeffrey Epstein by an unknown individual. Is it a far stretch to say that anybody that is part of the central casting is connected to Epstein or put into position because they have been, let's just say, splintered, brokered? They have been divested. They have been captured. And so their existence into this largest play, theatrical masterpiece, cannot be undone. They are forced to be there as a bit player. Walsh's name appears to be as a possible attendee at a party where children could be of harm. The email lists St. Bart's as a possible location for gathering, an island not associated with Jeffrey Epstein's social circle. Wow. I think that's a quickie dink. I got more to show you. There's a couple of things we'll go into as we fast track here because we're going
I want to call it a soiree,
Well,
Brett.
hold on a second.
All right, go ahead.
I want to fast track this. I mean, thank you, Darla, for the can. Epstein should cure himself. He seems to have the answer for the world population. It seems that Epstein knows everybody. And, you know, that's the most unusual thing. How does Epstein know everybody? You know, no one answers that question. How is it possible this guy knows everybody? Because he's all interconnected. And how is that possible? And why is that possible? We'll get to that. Epstein document states George Bush Sr. allegedly raped a male victim, a child, and witnessed a type of ritualistic sacrifice. Whoa! This should be telling you everything you need to know about what people were screaming about from the rooftops. Yes, child sacrifice. It's in there. This is what it is. Have we heard anything from the Bush family? Or you think they're going to opine about this? Probably not. Again, what do you think this is? Theater, conjecture, realism? It doesn't matter at this point. What I'm saying is there's so much stuff of speculation on how you can interpret all these things. I don't think it really matters at this point. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing now and that we're going to see this year is I liken it to a soiree, which is where you're bringing out people and presenting them to the world, so to speak. The soiree is kind of like where you're kind of like a container or whatever, and they're going to get married. Well, they're showing this cast of characters. Trump is, and he's putting them out on stage.
Well, let me just say this, you know, because we talked about it, and I want to go into, because I want to move into other stuff. The cascading effect that's taking place, this murder, death, torture, rape scenario of all the information that is unfurling out from Epstein in these drops. You have Reid Hoffman introduced Epstein to Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk. You have the Saudi Crown Prince bin Salman, all connected. You have Epstein joked he wasn't a Mossad agent to Ehud Barak, who was the president of Israel, the prime minister, whatever, and they would talk about slicing pizza and about who really is Mossad. You have Epstein connected to New York Giants co-owner Steve Tisch. All you sports ball people, stop watching football. It's all satanic. It is, and you're going to find out how worse it is. With multiple broads, Steve Tisch, scouting reports from Epstein for pros, working girls, and civilians. That's how they look at you, ladies and gentlemen. Billionaires look at you, ladies, as pros, working girls, or civilians. It's ready to spread their lings for a fat fuck. Let me continue on. You have Robin Leach, lifestyles of the rich and shameless. He strangled a young girl to death at a party. See, I can't show all this stuff because it's too much to get into. Howard Lucknick, that serves as the Commerce Secretary, wanted to bring his family to Epstein Island with another family. And he said, I never met the guy before. Do you understand where we're going with this? Do you understand who President Trump is surrounded by? He purposely surrounds himself with people that are interconnected with the deep dark. Whether in some way to salvage them, to call them out, to bring them down, or to eventually kick them by the wayside. It doesn't matter. We don't know. It's very curious. Moving on. Megyn Kelly sends a message to the Trump administration. If they decide to go after criminal aliens, I'm sorry, but that's not what we voted for. We voted for them all. I've been very critical after the last couple of days about the Secretary of DHS, and I think she will resign. I said 2 people that will resign last year, and one of them was Bongino. Bongino failed as a law enforcement agent. Maybe his tenure was good internally to bring down whatever the corruption inside. I don't know if he got to the bottom of anything. I think he was booted out personally. But my attitude about Kristi Noem throwing Stephen Miller under the bus and saying I wasn't there, and acting in, let's just say, precarious matters that I don't like or respect. I do believe her tenure in the administration is very tenuous and will go and part ways sooner rather than later. And it'll probably by her own design, not because necessarily she should be fired, but that's how it will be, let's just say, viewed or projected out in some way. And good riddance, because she left all the DHS, let's just say, people out there. She fucked up on this whole scenario in Minnesota. There should have been much more control there. There should have been protection. She left these people hung to dry, and I don't like her escapism attitude, and I don't really care about Kristi Noem. So you who sit there and say, we got to fire Pam Bondi. No, we don't. Pam Bondi's on fire. You got to stop. She's not the problem. We have certain people that may not be able to fill the shoes of these big institutions. You need a big sheriff, a top dog to replay. I think in some way she's got to go, Kristi Noem. Too big for her. Too big for her. She failed in Minnesota, and it's reflective. Let's continue on.
Was in an effort to take down the temperature, which was raised by these agitators on the street, Trump said, we're going to give up on anybody who's not a criminal. I know, Tom
Homan said, no, I don't believe this, so just listen to this.
Homan said, we're not doing that. I know he said, no, we'll still, we'll go after the ones who aren't like also criminals on top of being illegals. We will. Like, he basically made it sound like if we encounter them, we're going to get them. But the mission has changed. Don't fool yourself. Tom Homan went in. There was a divide between.
Did the mission change? Secondarily, yes, it did. Will the mission change going forward? I don't think so. I don't believe so. I will stand by that. I think at the moment there was a pivot. There had to be something done because the perception management from DHS was off the mark. They fucking screwed the pooch on this. Even though these people that have been, on temporary leave, what have you and stuff, and the real imagery pulls out that this guy was a domestic terrorist. Whether you want to say he deserved to be shot or not, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's done. He's finished. The problem is they didn't handle it as perfectly as possible. And it falls under the Secretary of Homeland Security. And I think in some way, her attitude or lackadaisical verbose on how she reflects upon this is her ultimate doom. Let me continue.
Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski reportedly on the one side, and Tom Homan on the other, and a couple of others who are in his camp on who we should be going after. And Noem and Lewandowski wanted it to be everyone, illegals who are here, period, And yes, we should prioritize the criminals, but like we should also be getting the illegals. That's what we were elected to do. And Tom Homan's general approach has been.
Yes, Homan did not say it. Trump won. I agree with Casey Soman. Really, what can Bongino really tell us? That the FBI is fucked? No shit. No, exactly. That's exactly. I'm trying to read your comments. I'm going to go over Trace's C4 to get the illegals out. That's the mission. Yes, the mission is to get the illegals out. I believe we are going to get the mission. We're solidifying. It's going to be a protocol. It's going to be a time-based scenario. I do believe we're set up to do this. Is it going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. Is it impossible to do? No, it's not. Is it possible to do within a certain time frame with the Trump administration? Probably not. Probably not. Realistically, if he gets a fourth term, I don't know. But again, stop with what? You pivot from Epstein. Your fucking black influencers and your black pillars are like Epstein. And then you got her. And she's right in some way. There is a meaningful argument of discussion that we have not ramped this up. Let me finish this.
And I understand it because we only have limited resources. Worst
Exactly.
first, the worst first. Let's prioritize the criminals.
She's right.
And now, believe me, it appears that the accommodation we've reached with these locals is we are just going to go after the criminals.
Absolutely not. I believe what's happening right now, and that's why I ended it, because that's a 2-minute thing. We got a fast track. We're at already 8:30. The point is, what I'm saying, Marshall, is that Tom Homan is not going to take all this intolerance. I mean, if the sheriffs are not, and they seem to do what they're doing right now, and ICE is involved. So all the legal protests are going on. The sheriffs are basically dealing with the situational protesting as they should. That's their job. Not ICE, not federal officers. That's not even National Guard. The National Guard, Dunkin' Donuts, all these other people that retreated. Fuck them too. I mean, you might as well wear pink shirts and tutus. The attitude is at this point, Tom Homan is like focused on what he's got to do. I don't necessarily believe that the message is wrong. How it's contemplated and how it's perceived and how it's carried out will ultimately be, let's just say, orchestrated out that everybody can like digest at a certain point. So what Megyn Kelly's saying in some ways that we've been fed a crock of shit and it's not going to happen. What say you?
I think she's dead wrong. Nothing has changed up there. They're still going around doing the arrests.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that they've been doing before is still going on. So I don't know what she's talking about. Now, it has kind of changed the little attitude of the sheriff and the police up there because they are starting to back them up and they're starting to go in and do their job. So it sounds like, Trump just, look, I think Waltz has got his balls to the wall. Trump knows it. They've got to go along. They don't have nothing. He can't do anything with all this fraud crawling down his throat. He's got to just let it happen. As far as Kristi Noem goes, I'm okay with her. You know why? Because
You like her.
Yeah, because what's his name? Keith Ellison. He said he wants to ice her. He wants to permanently put her on ice.
Well, you had him say that, so I will defend Kristi Noem because she's gotten death threats, so I don't like that. I don't want him.
If they don't like her, I like her even
So when you
more.
come out and threaten her, then I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out fucking shooting sparks because I don't like that. And I don't like the way that. What I'm saying is that how this could have been handled better in some way from their end should have been done. But the reluctance of saying, I wasn't there, it's not my thing, I take my orders from Trump and Stephen Miller, I think that's, if she said that, that's a fucking joke, and she should be removed. But she shouldn't be shot or killed. But anyway, everybody smells chum in the water. So here we go. I'm going to leave it at this. Tim Walz, Minnesota AG Ellison will be testifying before Congress. This interesting thing. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there'll be indictments and arrests at that time. I don't know what's going to change. Anytime people go before Congress, it's almost like a waste of time. That's the way I look at these things. Is it a waste of time?
Total waste.
Is it always a waste of time? I mean, I'm getting tired of the waste of the time and stuff because we cover a lot of stuff, but it seems to me it's like, are we spinning our wheels? What are we doing? So this was interesting from Wall Street Apes. Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes, says Elon Omar and her husband are running a money laundering scam. Really? Tell us more, Steve.
Congress probing her sudden skyrocketing wealth to $30
This
million
is Fox
in
Business,
just 1 year,
Forbes,
that they
and
have
they're
a problem
calling
with
a
her living the
congressman
American
out. This
dream.
is
You
big.
heard her say the goddamn United States of America.
Yes.
We've got new questions on where she and her husband got all that money. Joining us now, Forbes media
Where'd you get
chair,
that money?
editor-in-chief Steve Forbes. Steve, new information
What
coming
you doing,
in. Forbes
Willis?
magazine, your magazine has reported this too.
She
that
wears a
monkey
fucking
money.
towel around her
Washington,
head.
D.C. canceled the
Monkey
registration
money.
for Omar's husband's investment firm, Rose Lake, for not paying its back taxes.
Who would have ever thought we'd have somebody in Congress like this?
Delaware and nearly 1,800 to D.C. She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less
You know,
than $1,000 a year before.
I
How
think
can
in
this
some way we
investment
have to
firm
really
not afford to
consider
pay
that
taxes? It's
we have to
supposedly worth an
redirect our
estimated $75
attitude
million,
about
$150 million.
what
This is
our
really weird
understanding is
stuff.
about. Everybody
weird
we
is
think
not the word
we're
for
called
it.
as racist,
There's another word
white
for it
supremacists
called
and stuff.
crooked.
I
And
think
that's
it's
why we
great
have
to be
have an
white
investigation
supremacists.
to
I think
this,
it's
as you know,
good
the
to be
Biden administration
racist.
started
I
examining
think
her
we need
finances,
to harken
that of her
back
husband,
to
and
the
so-
southern
so,
tier
surprise,
of a
surprise, that
time
investigation went nowhere.
where
But it's amazing how
our
people
reality,
can go into Congress and then
as
become
we
these
perceive it right
entrepreneurial
now,
investing
is being
geniuses,
what?
where they come in, she had under
Catapulted
$1,000
into
in
a
net
certain
worth, and her
disposition.
husband didn't
And
have
that
much, and suddenly
disposition is
now
we're
they're
dealing with
multimillionaires.
blacks and
They're
browns,
money
illegals,
laundering
third
operation
worlders,
here.
scum
And
all across the
in
place.
terms of,
And the white
firms
people are being
themselves,
destroyed.
they have a
They're
sketchy
being murdered.
background.
They're being
That
killed
winery
off.
in California
Christians are being
that
murdered.
she and her husband
And I
own,
think that we
where did
need
that
to
come
do
from?
something
Where's the
in
wine
some
there?
way
And
to
nobody
make
can seem
sure
to find
that,
it.
look,
So there's
at
a
the
lot
end of the
smelly
day,
stuff here, and
these
that's why,
people will
the
no
American
longer
dream,
exist.
her
Whether we
version
do
of the
something
American
about
dream
it,
is the Al Capone version of the
because
American
you
dream,
don't
Tony
want
Soprano's
us to do
version of the
something
American
about it.
dream,
Because
and
I
that was
want to take
steal
a
it.
baseball
Steal it from the
bat to that
taxpayers.
fucking
And
egghead
so, there's
and
a lot
crack
of
that
stuff here,
fucking
and so
alien
when
head
somebody
right
calls
open.
themselves an
We all
called the
do.
American dream,
We all
and
do.
so you
We have
numbers like this,
restraint.
from minus 1,000 to 30,
But
40
the
million,
bottom line
you know
is
something
how
is
we
not
look
right.
at these people
she's
going
also-
forward,
also
how
like,
we can consider how we do
blaming
business.
people, bullying,
Every
doing
American
race baiting,
citizen
race
in this
bullying.
country
There's no
should start to
evidence, public
consider
evidence,
if
there's
you're
even a
not
binary. She
legal,
valued it at $5 million.
if you're a
This
third
investment
world
firm is
fucking
real.
piece of
Well,
shit,
it's supposedly real. Its DC headquarters appear
if
to
you're
share
something
office space
that's
at a WeWork,
a bum,
Steve.
a worthless
There's no
piece
track
of
record
trash,
this firm
the
managing money,
20%
doing
that I
M&A
always talk
deals,
about that are
clients
gone
see
in this
investment deals
country,
or any
that are
work
going to
it's
be
done. They say they
disposable,
do work
that are
in
going to
80 nations
disperse,
operating in.
disappear
There's no
very
SEC
soon, and they
registration for
will.
them as investment advisors.
That's how we have
What
to
is
look
going
at it.
on
I'm
here?
not
This
talking about the
increasingly
brown
looks sketchy,
and
both the
black
winery and his
citizens
investment firm.
of America.
Yeah, the winery
I'm not
may
talking
exist,
about
and the firm,
those
may be,
people.
just
Pay
really
their
a name
taxes,
only,
do
as
their
you
work,
say, a WeWork
work this.
office. Big
I'm
deal.
talking
So
about
that's why the
what
investigation
corrupts
needs
this
to be done. And
base,
suddenly all that 30
what
million, I think you're going to find, I'll make a
destroys
speculation or
and
prediction,
separates and
that 30
divides
million
our
came from
culture
sources
is
that
people
are
like
illegal,
that.
period.
I guarantee you
so
right
much,
now,
Steve
as I
Forbes,
get out
helping
of
us.
this, that we probably would have a better mix of race and relations between white, brown, and black if we didn't have the third world scum stealing all our fucking everything, benefits, our wealth, our financial gain, you name it. I think that we can live in harmony and peace without fucking killing each other and having monsters roam around psychopathically in some way. That's to a base limit. That's as far as I'll go with that, because I don't necessarily believe that that's 100% true. Marshall, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty obvious. They're trying to take over our country. Look, I've got good news, Brett. I've got really good news for you. And I wanted to send this to you, but I'm gathering information as we speak. On Monday, I'll send it to you. But here's the good news, ladies and germs. The white population has started to see an uptick in births. So our birth rate is higher than most others right now. Believe it or not. How about that one? I mean, it's just a thought.
Make white America great, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, it's racist. You're a racist channel. Yeah, I am.
Birth rates are up, Brett.
Totally
Way up.
racist. I love it. It's okay to feel and enjoy your racism.
White culture is the best.
White culture is where it's at. You need to support it. You need to be a benefactor of it. You not to support anything else that is black or brown. That will survive on its own through governance subsistence. Not to push it aside, but it grows on its own entity through grift and graft. White America doesn't operate in that way. We operate by bringing those people up, educating them, and putting them in positions where they make the actual change. Because you don't put black and brown people into positions of change because they have an acumen of 69. That's what we brought in. There we go. This is the other part of my discussion. ICE begins buying mega warehouses, detention centers across the U.S. ICE is rising, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I was trying to say to you. Megyn Kelly, I think in some way, even though she has some type of legal or statutory, let's just say, supposition to make based upon what the factual assessment of Tom Homan was saying. And I don't believe in any way this Trump administration or Tom Homan is peeling back. They're just redirecting, rerouting, and what they're doing is fine-tooling about how they can bring forth this. Let me say this. I'll get to the discussions about Fort Sumter and John Brown and many other things about the Civil War, the de facto situation we're in, which I use all the time, de facto situation. And then we'll get to that. ICE begins buying mega structures, warehouse detention centers across. Remember back in 2008, 2009, maybe early, the conspiracy theorem that they were training facilities in Walmart warehouses. They were closing these super centers down. They were going to put us in detention centers and all this stuff. It may have been true. There may have been some type of realization of understanding that was, but the dimensional shift between 9, 10, 11, and 12, something had given way. Plans for such centers and jails in nearly 24 communities have sparked protests and suitability. Fuck you. Despite protests in small towns and cities across the U.S., Trump administration is pushing ahead with the purchase of warehouses. It plans to convert into migration jails, which could be the largest expansion of detention capacity in U.S. history. My God, 172 million. A third El Paso in Texas could be among the largest jails any kind in the country, completed as envisioned with 8,500 beds. The deals mark the latest in the U.S. Immigration Customs plan to use as many 23 warehouses across the United States, detaining thousands of immigrants by federal agents in Minneapolis and other cities. Those aggressive enforcement actions have ignited clashes. But here's the point. You have, about 16 city-state victim sanctuary places. So consider where all these places are going to be. Maybe outside of those areas or outside the prevailing areas. The administration paid $102 million for a site near Hagerstown, Maryland. According to local court filings, a week later, government paid $70 million in cash for a warehouse in Surprise, Arizona. The price tag's roughly in line with the industry sites are currently empty shells. ICE still has to pay companies to outfit this. The El Paso site was purchased by Department of Homeland Security, and according to familiar with the transaction who asked not to be named, discussing confidential process, but the sale hasn't been made public. I got another article. Marshall, your thoughts? Let me rein through this.
Well, I mean,
what do you think about that? That's just massive. That is a big thing, man.
That's a huge deal. That tells us that we're getting serious about getting these.
So, do you think Megyn Kelly? Let me interject. Do you think Megyn Kelly is wrong? Is she incorrect? Is she basing her supposition on, let's just say, tertiary or secondary rhetoric because she doesn't believe the rhetoric from the White House or Tom Homan, or is she actually doing her, let's just say, due diligence to look into this stuff? So, on the one hand, they're saying one thing. On the other token, they're ratcheting it all down. But simultaneously, behind the scenes, they're buying mega warehouses, detention centers. Please continue.
Well, yeah, no. she's wrong on part of that. You know that. Look, I've read about it earlier today, and I double checked it just now.
Yeah.
Walmart is closing over 250 of their stores.
No, I saw 1,000. 1,000 stores.
Well,
I
that's
saw that.
just in California.
Yeah.
That's just in California. I can't imagine.
You
how
know,
you
they
would have
saw,
250
they sold
stores.
500 of those to the American government, right?
Well, there you go.
They sold 500 U.S. warehouses of these areas that they were closing down in the West because
500.
they felt that in the West, in the area, they were being what? They were being destroyed. People were stealing. They were robbing. They were killing. And they shut it down and sold those apparatuses to the U.S. government as warehouse detention centers. It's perfectly aligned because all you browns and blacks, and whether legal or not, they're ripping off our, you know, I mean, my attitude about like theft, if you're stealing from Walmart or Target and stuff, you're a piece of shit. You're a scumbag. I understand people are you know, they're needy and stuff. That's one thing. But if you're just ripping off like Louis Vuitton and all these things,
You're obese.
yeah, my attitude about these, fuck you. In these areas, in the Western areas where you robbed and you took control and you broke down, now you monkeys, you third world fucking what? Scumbags. You're going to be hung from there. You're going to be detained there. Now, I wish there would be more get into American citizenship because I've been pushing right now. I'm actually sent it to my state legislature and my congressperson, excuse me, not my congressperson, my senator, about how we defund or in some way we break down the natural citizenship of an American citizen if they were paid mercenaries. Like I basically was arguing the idea that if you are a paid Hessian, a merc, to do all these things, and you were convicted of doing these things, the opportunity to lose your citizenship should be on the table. Not prior to, but thereafter of a conviction. That's what I'm saying. And that has to be federal law, not civil or not state. So what I'm saying is that if you were part of this apparatus that you're going to be caught up what's going on in Minnesota with the Palantir
Color
stuff,
revolution.
yeah, I think in some way, I think that the idea that your citizenship should be based on your reality. Because if you're not a nihilist who has any political beliefs and you just want to see the world burn, but you're getting as paid provocateurs Hessians, I think that your citizenship as deemed should be on the table. So ICE begins buying these mega warehouses. 3,000 immigration arrests per day. I'm going to go through it. We already just like January 16th, administration paid $102 million for a site here in Maryland, $70 million in cash. El Paso site purchased here, an indication that on Thursday, Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt said he met with owners of warehouse identified as ICE who told him they are no longer to sell or lease the facility. The agency, I commend the owners for the decision. There are many people that are, look, here it is. These are the areas that are being bought and groomed for ICE facilities. Now, what the argument is, Marshall, is that a lot of people are coming in with the prevailing arguments is they're buying up this stuff from the government and they don't want to tell, let's just say, Walmart or all these people what they're doing. Walmart has already agreed to this, 300 outlets, but many other people privately don't want to agree to it. So you're seeing a certain vast growing intolerance of understanding what they're trying to supplant at this moment. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Questions, comments, and concerns. Let's read your commentary. Darrell gifted the can. White is right. Oops, there it is. No, white is always right. We lead the pack. We control everything. Without white people, brown and black people would be living in caves. Super D donated 217 gold pills. Darrell gifted the can. Bottom line, had no sympathy for these evil fucks. No, don't either. Huggy 71 gifted the can. All Christy No needs is a gray hair swath. Tulsi protege. That is a very hot laugh out loud. I like where you're going. Man, Hollig 71. Yeah, it gets my dick moved. Darla gifted a can. Brett, I meant Gates, laugh out loud. The Microsoft guy jabbing everyone around the. Well, I don't know what you're referring to, but whatever you're saying, I agree with you. I like 71 to gift a can, gifted a cookie. Super D dropping 117 gold pills. Good to see everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. Hit the red pill. Hit the bell to be notified. If you want to help out Marshall, GoFi.com.
We got to push for 10,000, guys.
You got to, help out the platform.
Try to push for 10,000.
We try to stay on for 2 hours and, give you the most amount of information.
Extra costs with YouTube and all that. So
it's crazy, man. It's crazy what's going on. Thank you. I appreciate it. You want to help out Marshall, GoFi.com.
And he ain't making any money. I'm not making any money. Let's just pay the bills. That's all.
Yep, pay the bills. That's what we got to do. So here's another, Marshall. This is a good thing. I'm going to direct it. We're going to fast track it, but I want to direct everything to you as we go forward. So let me just pause this. So Todd Blanche. So listen to this. So Todd Blanche goes forward with this. We're just going to go boom, boom, boom. And then you can answer all these things.
So look, I don't think a single video should change any perception the Department of Justice may or may not have about that tragic occurrence last Saturday. We've said
about Preddy
over the past week that, of course,
this
is something that we're investigating, and we are. That's what we
would
always do in
pretty good dead
like this. And so there's an investigation that's ongoing, which I'm not going to talk about. But just look, the problem is an initial reaction to a particular video, one or another. You're talking about one that happened apparently some days ahead of last Saturday. It's an investigation. So an investigation necessarily means just that. It means talking to witnesses. It means looking at documentary evidence, sending subpoenas if you have to. And the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division has.
So the Civil Rights Division are going to handle it, and they're going to see who Preddy is and how he operated and stuff. And then the civil rights will basically look at this and say, yeah, he was a violent felon, had a gun on him, attacked police officers, spit on them. And you know what? They'll just deem it as a righteous shot. That's it. Marshall, go ahead.
No, I mean, we saw the video the other night. The guy's kicking the ice off.
Tail light.
Yeah, the tail light, broke it off. He's spitting on the guy. This guy's a long,
You spit on me. If I don't fucking pull out my gun and shoot you, I'll hit you in a bat and break your head open like an egg. You don't even
got AIDS. You could have AIDS.
You never spit on me. You know what the funniest thing is? Like, my wife and I, we were out, and I got into something, and someone, spit near me. And I turned around, looking at the guy, and I'm like, if that was aimed at me, I would fucking kill you. He goes, no, I was just spitting on the ground. My attitude is that you spit on me, that's assault, just like it as a police officer. I'll Michael Myers you. I'll stick a knife in your throat. My attitude about how these people can be conducted, should be conducted in some way. We have a certain attitude that we should be, relaxed in some way. I don't want you to be relaxed. I want you to be angry. I want you to be frustrated. I want you to defend yourself. When I see shit like this and all these people that are being just, murdered left and right because we have so much criminal, illegal alien scum in this country and stuff, and I live in Florida and I'll run you over. All right, you know what? I'll run you over, but I can't back up because that's the law, even though I'd want to back up. I can't shoot you in the face and then turn you over and shoot you in the back. Can't do that. But there are many things that I look at that what bothers me, Marshall, that really gets my goat in some ways, that how we perceive these things, how certain people are allowed to get away with certain nomenclature, syntax, verbiage, dialogue, but yet when you say something or I say something, we get fucking popped.
Right, you got to walk around on eggshells. If you're a white person, you're supposed to be scared of everything you say. You can't do anything, you can't say nothing. Fuck that.
Right.
I'm not having that, man.
Right. No, here's the thing. Here's the minority nigger that runs the house. He says Hakeem Jeff. This is the monkey that they have on their fucking pedestal. She got put on ice permanently. He says Hakeem Jeffries just gave a signal and Kristi Noem. He says to put her on ice.
Who put this wildly unqualified person into a position of significance, the Department of Homeland Security, so she could unleash brutalization on everyday Americans, American citizens, and law-abiding immigrant families. It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice.
Yep, that's a death threat right there. Put on ice. She's basically saying put her on slab. I have my problems with Kristi Noem, but I'm not. He said he basically, that monkey basically said put the white Barbie on ice.
Permanently, he said.
Permanently. And so what you're doing is you're trying to ratchet this down, but you have the minority monkey of the House of Representatives who pretends that he is some of a grape ape from Obama. Well, you're not from Kenya, buddy. So you might as well move as far away from that as possible. You know, he wants to go ooh, and chimp out and attack her and then say, let's call a death threat a death threat. No, see, that's the problem. See, this is where it gets out of hand. You can have an argument, you have a discussion. Do I think she will resign soon? Yes, I do. I think the failure about a lot of things has happened. But the call for her death, no. I'm going to back that and say, you're chimping out? No. But this is how the Democrats are. They chimp out on many different ways. They can't fight on fire. Go ahead.
I'm going to stick with her. All right?
Okay.
Just because of his chimp out.
Right.
And just in spite of his chimp out on her, I'm going to stick with her. I don't think she's done. Look, man, I think a lot of these people like Pam Bondi, the military is probably.
I just don't like her commentary, Marshall.
It's
not that I don't think that she's doing a bad job per se. I just believe that how she handled this situation could have gotten better, and her verbiage was out of control. Well, I wasn't in Minnesota.
Yeah, I
take my orders from Stephen Miller and President Trump. What the fuck are you saying? Shut your mouth, bitch. Don't say that at all. Are you the fucking Homeland Secretary? Take onus of it.
I'm gonna
control it.
I'm going to
Mandolin. Give her a pass. I mean, what is she saying?
I'm going to give her a pass on that one. She
sounds feckless, bro.
She hasn't fucked up.
She sounds feckless.
Well, okay.
All right. I mean, look, that's fine. I'll defend her about being murdered by this fucking chimp. But what I'm saying is, dude, seriously.
I get it.
She could have handled this better. She could have had the right commentary and syntax to explain Freddie's death, but she didn't do it. And I think in some way, the Department of Homeland Security didn't handle this situation as good as it can. Well, is Tom Homan going to take over? Eventually, he probably will be. I mean, I don't know. People said, well, we're going to get Ron DeSantis. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. I'm like, no one wants him there.
I believe in a second chance. Like Trump, I believe in a second chance. I
just think in some way, Tom Homan, look, it's
but
what
I like
said.
Tom Homan being there. I think the whole thing is going.
All right, so
fine.
I didn't get to say this to you.
I think it's all going fine, though. Actually, really.
I said this to Thomas's show. What did I say? I said this on Thomas's show. I believe. I think I said this. I said that, in light of everything, I said this on his show yesterday. In light of everything that's happened, so I'll point it to you. That the DHS and others think about utilizing Tom Homan prior to all this hullabaloo? Or was this just an afterthought or an opportunity to use him with leverage against Waltz, Ellison, and Mayor Fry? Methinks that President Trump and the DHS wanted to go in hot and rough, large to anticipate, but they didn't have the backup. They wanted this to be big. I'm going to play this for a little bit, and I'll be right back. This is an interesting thing. I want you to hear. Oh, let me share this, and I'll be right back, because this is really big. I think you need to see this.
The Grant Stinchfield sent you. With that, let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stenchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stenchfield.
All right, welcome everybody. So, it is a shame that I've got to be here and warn President Trump of the threats against him. Now, I'm sure beyond any other individual, President Trump is well aware of the threats against him. I am sure that President Trump knows full well of the threats against him. He's a brave guy, though. The fight tells the whole story. But here's what I want to reiterate to the Secret Service, to President Trump, to President Trump's team. The heightened rhetoric of those on the left, I actually don't believe it's rhetoric anymore. I believe it is a call to violence. And that is the sad reality of where we are today when they come out with this increased Nazi talk, with this increased slave patrol talk. All of it is a wink and a nod to the left to go out and do something horrific. And that horrific act, I believe, would be assassinating a sitting United States president named Donald J. Trump.
So what he's saying is right now that they're ratcheting up the rhetoric. You could see that the idea, we're going to get to certain discussions that I want to move forward to. We got plenty of time. Marshall, your thoughts? I just want to move forward rather quickly. I want to get to Don Lemon because we're going to cover it right now. Lemmings in some way. I don't want to waste too much time in this feral faggot. But what's your thoughts about that? I think that the ratcheting up of violence and antipathy is coming. I think a lot of people are just, they're overlooking this. They think that, everything's going to be fine. No one's going to be doing anything. I think they're crazy. I've been saying this for a while right now that I think that, the idea, what I've been saying about a de facto civil war, in practice and in theory is coming to fruition, whereas in reality it's not technically part of that supposition, but I believe it is.
I think his warning to Trump is justified, and I do believe that we're gonna come. Look, we're gonna see a lot of things happen this year. I mean, it's gonna be huge what's gonna go on. I think that Trump is fully guarded.
Right.
I think he's fully protected. I think he's fully secured.
Right.
I don't think Stenchfield is right to throw up the lights, though.
Yeah.
To throw up the fucking warning sign. I get that. I get it. I feel it too. We all feel that.
Yeah, I think
Guy
it's
is
going to
always
get really
under
worse.
attack.
I think it's going to get really bad.
Yeah, it's going to. This is the year of the retribution, Brett. This is
Okay.
the year when all the truth comes out. So it's all. Look, we're a month in. Look how much shit's come out already.
Yeah, Feral Lemons, Lemon Don. Good to see everybody. Welcome into the We Are Rise show from Woke Societies. Good to see everybody. All right, a lot of people here. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell. Hit the pill. Get notified. You want to support the platform? You know what to do. It's good to see everybody. What's going on? Tracer C4, another rich bitch. Alita, another fake winery. Yeah, she had a fake winery. $5 million. We're talking about Elon Omar. A lot of different things and stuff. Trump is always getting death threats. Yeah, but these things are heating up now. You have to look at it in the context of what he was saying. So breaking down, Lemon arrested by federal agents connection to the protests. People are freaking out. Lemon covered ICE, blah, blah, blah. He's pushed back for his coverage. I'm just going to move forward on this because we all know he was arrested. He liked it. He probably enjoyed it. In some way, this is a guy that really has to take a look about his life and how he perceives the people that he wants to go after. Because, let's put it this way. As Nick Sorda says, Don Lemon's husband has arrived at the Los Angeles courthouse where Lemon will be arraigned. For a man who talks a lot of shit about white men, he really loves white men. White men, something is broken. Men who look like you, men who vote like you, men who sound like you. Something is cracked deep inside. And I will say this right now. Homosexuals, transgenders, You're the blight. You are the disgrace. You are the rot of this country. And if we weren't Saudi Arabia, we would be pushing you off the building as a hobby. And I would enjoy every moment of it. You are the decadence. You are you are everything Satan loves. Baal loves. The trans, all this stuff. I find you the most repulsive, disgusting Inuit out there. I have nothing but displeasure, and I hope that we can finally weed out a lot of these people in so many different ways, because they are not societally, let's just say, mentally stable, unhealthy, physically, mentally. We don't know how many STDs this guy has, but realistically, proportionally, and how they euthanize our children. I look at homosexuality, bestiality, transgenderism as a decadent disease has promulgated our country for so long. It's not about the sexual perversions. It's more about the physical, the mental promulgations, the mental conversions, and how they sexually and mind fuck you, molest you. Think about when you were molested child. I know people were, or people have been. I myself have experienced some dark stuff. I have family members that have. Think about how they live their lives today and how tough and difficult it was. When you abuse a child or a dog or an animal in some way, you become the Michael Myers that you can't walk away from. And I see no quarter for you to exist. No quarter. You should be hung, shot, killed. I don't fucking care. Beaten to death with a fucking baseball bat. But the people, the victims that live on, that continue to live on, whether through Epstein or other people and stuff, have to go through all this broken madness. It's problematic. As much as I have sympathy for them, those who don't grow up in this manner, they just end up being deviants in some way, subversives. I really have no quarter for you. And look, I don't know what to say about how a black feral faggot wants to call us white supremacists when he's butt slamming or being butt slammed by or penetrated by a white man is shockingly disgusting and gross and embarrassing. And yet we have to indulge in this bravado. It makes me want to Marshall.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This guy Don Lemon, he got busted. He got pinched hard. And it's look, this is a federal crime though. So I don't know if it's gonna we don't know if it's gonna lead to some years. Because it is a federal crime. I mean, you go in and you drive a bunch of people into a church. Can
You know what I
imagine?
don't like? I don't.
Like,
the FACE Act is great, but I'm sick and tired of
The
black
weak
people attacking white people, gay,
Yeah,
feral,
I am sick of
gay,
this.
and then attacking Christian churches. So you're a feral faggot black man married
back.
to a fucking white man. Okay, going into a white church, attacking this or church, and I'm just so sick of all this stuff. I'm just sick of it. Leave us alone.
White people need to fight back, man.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that you didn't want to go into a black Baptist church because they would stick a fucking they'd stick a Bible up your ass, you would probably enjoy it, but you probably deserve it. I mean, that's the reality. Don Lemon says his arrest is unprecedented because he's a journalist. No, he's not. He doesn't work for anybody. All right. That means I'm a journalist. Am I a journalist? I don't know about that. I'm a podcaster. I'm sure journalist Steve Baker would like to debate the precedent argument after Biden regime had him arrested. Exactly. So the question is, am I a journalist? I doubt it. I'm more a podcaster. But who is he? Who the fuck does he think he is? That's the problem. That's the problem with these feral homos, these feral black people, she-booms, she-bots. They think they're bigger than everybody else. They can do whatever they want, and they can get away with it. It's great on the justice system to lock this down. It sets a precedent that everybody is what? Everybody's dialed down, and everybody's locked in, and everybody can be pinched, Marshall.
And they're twice as loud.
Yep.
They have no problem being twice as loud and doubly stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They do it all the time. Thank God I don't live around that shit. But, you know, you see the videos.
It's disgusting in some way. Thank you, Wood USA, for the 917 gold pills. Need more gold pill love. Support the boy stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being out here. Who's here? Hello, Mom. Donating 1,000 gold pills, helping keeping the lights on. Wow.
You got to keep the lights on, man. 10,000. Wow. YouTube is hitting us up, brothers. We got to
like 71 give to the cookie. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
I ain't making no money.
Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to help out the platform, it's fantastic. I love it. If you want to help out Marshall, Ko-Fi.com/SharkDog74. Let's continue on. We got a lot more. And we might go a little bit more, but I have so much more, and I really want to get to the discussion, the deep dark in this. And I want to thank Woke Society's breaking the bank and coming in here and setting people in there. If you like it, hit the bell to be notified. You know, sign up to the platform. Hit the like button. Share, subscribe, maybe support the platform. Tracer C4, gay. Yeah, I'm sick of gay. Sick of fag, sick of trans. I'm sick of anything that's antithetical of what a man and a woman is. I'm sick of it. If it's not man and woman, I want to push you off a building, push you off a pier, push you in front of a train. Why not? You got browns and blacks that do it to white people all the time. Maybe we should start doing it to them. Maybe we should start changing our culture. What? I want to support white people? Is that racist? I want to support making sure white women have jobs, white men, white older people, boomers that are not out there burning down our country, that are supplying, they don't want to get involved in this stuff. I want to support the white nationalist movement. That's what I believe in. I believe in only that. Everything else is secondary or tertiary. You know, doesn't mean they don't matter if you're an American citizen. But everything else, from my standpoint, is how I view in that peripheral. So, Lamo, reporter, Todd Blanche, do you have a reaction? Don Lemon, this is Nick Sword. This is funny.
And to follow up on that, do you have a reaction to the arrest of Don Lemon overnight?
Do you have a reaction to what?
To Don Lemon's arrest overnight.
Do I have a reaction to it? I don't know what that means. What are you looking for me to do?
Do a little dance.
No, I don't have a reaction to it. I don't know that that the charges aren't sealed yet. So no, I can't. I'm not going to comment on that.
Do you think KC and the Sunshine Band were going to come out playing in the background to Todd Blanche saying that? I mean, that's just, what do you think he's going to say? Marshall, that's hilarious. I mean, it's funny, right? It's funny,
they're
right?
Trying to
like, you think he's going to do a little dance? He's going to start stepping and break dancing?
Yeah, do a little dance, shake a little love, you know, get down tonight. I get it. Yeah. You know, look, the guy, it's so obvious the media. The media literally beclown themselves.
It's
they
embarrassing.
Literally beclown themselves doing that. I mean, it was so ridiculous. They look like, you know, it shows people more and more every day that the media is full of shit.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
No, it is. I mean, there's just a lot of different, like, subject matter. This was something that I thought that, let me move on. I got to move on. Oh, man. I thought this was good. I'll get this on Getter.
You want us to sing. Aloha Mom said we should sing.
Sing what?
She said, yes, we're singing. Oh, I think we're singing. Hallelujah.
Well, I have a lot of new background music because you told me that my music is too, what do you call it? So I made it much more subdued.
Like
What I'm doing is I'm basically selling you the Church of Brett Collins, the We Are Rise Church. You're signing up for
Like porn music.
You don't have to
in the
pay
background.
donations. I'm not asking for anything. You don't have to take a certain lemonade. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It's free will. Free will. But this was good. Tel Aviv was getting hammered. Listen to this. We Are Brandon says Iran's missiles barrage could have completely annihilated the Israeli economy. Listen to this. I thought this was interesting.
Tel Aviv. I saw.
Listen to this.
I saw pictures, Steve, that are not allowed to be posted, but Tel Aviv was much more damaged than they let on.
Why weren't they be allowed to be posted? During that time. Now we sent an armada as President Trump, a flotilla. There's a whole harbinger of stuff. We're going to hit Iran. So my question is, Marshall, we're going to hit Iran, and Iran is going to fucking hit Israel. So if they were already hit last time, does Israel go by the wayside? Let me continue.
Wow.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons President Trump stepped in, is no doubt. The word was out that Tel Aviv was
Absolutely.
getting hammered.
Netanyahu owes him big.
So why? What do you mean by that?
Well, look.
Listen to this.
What do
In
you
my
mean by that?
opinion, had the Iranians continued with the operational tempo they were doing and with their size of missile arsenal, they were probably going to completely annihilate the Israeli economy. That would have then forced a political backlash against Netanyahu, which, with all of his other issues he's dealing with domestically, politically, he probably would have at the very least been kicked out of office and maybe even thrown in jail. By Trump intervening with the very limited effective strikes that he did, Trump broke that fever and he saved Netanyahu politically. Whether that was the intention or not, I don't know, but it certainly reset the game for another 8 to 9 months.
What do you think about that, Marshall? That's an interesting thing. We're sending a whole armada, a fleet, armada, whatever, to Iran, and we're going to hit them. We're going to hit them because that's part of our plan. We're going to hit them. Cuba's going to collapse. That's all part of this whole directive. Do you have a problem with that? Because they're hanging protesters. They're murdering people. We're just going to basically destroy all the dirt slop so they can start over. What's your feeling? What's your thoughts? What do you think about that? Do you think in some way saving Israel for last is about ending Israel by doing this? By doing this, they will countermeasure to attack Israel and bury it to the ground. And then Israel's done.
It's what I've always said.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I have all.
You never said that to me. I don't know
I've said it
disrespect, but
I've
you
said
didn't
on
say
the
it to
show
me.
that Israel is probably going to be on their way out. I've said it a few times.
No, but
I think
what I'm saying is, do you think the deflection by hitting Iran, the last time they hit Iran, it weakened Israel? It weakened the state of Israel, according to what that gentleman said, specifically what I'm pointing out. And that we hit Iran again, the next attack will be Iran onto Israel. Is that saving Israel for last?
Well, I guess it is. But either way, I think that Israel is on their way out in so many ways.
Right.
In some ways. There's not going to be no greater Israel. There's not going to be none of that. All this shit. They have been, to me, they've been cornered. They've been cornered. They're in the corner. They've been identified. They're just squirreled up into one little area.
Right.
And now the world is, and it's them and the British Empire. Because the British Empire created Israel. They literally created it. So that shit's done. That whole old school shit, it's over, Brett. It's over, in my opinion.
Okay. So Trump declares national emergency on Cuba. He said in the next couple of weeks, Cuba's going to fall. This is another amazing thing. I don't think people really understand the Cuban embargo, 60 years per se, JFK. I don't think you really understand how important this is. You don't really understand. if Cuba falls, what's going to take its place? What's going to happen? President Trump says executive order Thursday declaring a national emergency of what the White House describes as an unusual and extraordinary event, a threat posed by the Cuban government. They're going to retaliate. President Trump signs an executive order. Marco Rubio, no doubt, in his hand. Cuba's about to get early jerked off. What happens with Cuba in the United States? Do they have missiles to hit us? What are they going to do? What's going to happen with Cuba? I don't know. And I don't want to presuppose a thought process here in some way because I don't want to get bogged down. I got so much more to get into. But I'm really like perplexed with the idea is that if Cuba falls, and we're aware of it, who comes in interim to take over to stabilize the regions? That's number one. Who fortifies the energy platform? Because that's key. Who continues the electrical grid for water and food and supplication to come in? Is this already contingent upon, or has this already been done? Has the transition been taking place? This, to me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you watch Miami Vice. You don't understand anything regarding this. We've gone through this 60 years where some asshat parked missiles 90 miles away off the coast of the United States. And now we're about to see the fall of a communist regime be recalibrated, not captured, retooled, re-engineered, where many Cubans want to go back. They want to go back to save their country, rebuild their country. I think that's going to be great. I believe in some way that the fall of Cuba will be the greatest, not only business, transit, transport, technological fashion, but also a reality of a supposition of a reconstitution of a world that we could have had 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. But I do believe that in some way, when the government falls, the elements will be in place. There'll be a contingent government to take over. There'll be businesses ready to go. There'll be many people that want to fine-tune engineer for travel. Oh my God. I think in some way this has to happen. It needs to happen. Not just for our security, our safety. It's long overdue. It's long overdue. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, and actually Cuba is part of this whole Western Hemisphere take a really control mechanism that Trump has been working on. We're working on our hemisphere. Cuba is right in the middle of it, right in the middle. And so it all makes sense. You'll have a free Cuba.
And Brett can get his cigars. Yeah, I want my Cuban cigars. Yeah, I'm not going to pay that Canadian tax. I want it directly sent. Oh, my God. I can get Cuban cigars. Wow. Fantastic. No, but, Cuba has rum and they have other things they could do. You can increase this thing. There are many elements of the Cuban society that can be readily just like, let's say, compensated and spread out, and they can grow. But they're not, the people are not even getting this growth. They're not even getting a parcel of this stuff. But I think in some way you want to make sure that there are jobs. You make sure they're running water, food. You want to make sure that there are something that is more substantial for what they have. I look at Cuba in general as something. It's not Venezuela. I want them. We're 90 miles away. It's important that we not just redirect Cuba into another fashion, but we help maintain and sustain some type of democracy left out of communism and build it up to a republic eventually. But in the end, we have to supplant our feet and fix the actual maelstrom of the actual scenario that they're in. Meaning, you have to make sure that you can identify and control and fix the energy sector, the water, everything. You got to make sure that they have, and then add to it, increase it. You have to expand upon that. You have to secure all these different areas that need to be. I don't know how far. This is another scenario. Another vital thing that we should be focusing on. Here he goes. The Shine Box responds to Schweitzer's invisible coup. She says, listen to this. This is absolutely false. Consulates have a role determining international laws. We need to shut down all Mexican consulates because they are totally controlled and captured by the cartels to the United States. That is their job. So what she's saying is utterly false. We categorically deny that they're doing anything, blah, blah, blah. Scheinbaum is also attempting to distance from Scheiser. New truth from President Trump, great new book, blah, blah, blah. President Trump is highlighting this. He's basically saying that all the speculation about this is true. All the Mexican consulates are going to be shut down. With more than 50 in the United States, Scheiser writes, Mexican government is blatantly interfering with domestic policy. What I'll say is this, that Mexico is a wholly captured country, and she's realizing right now is that when we shut down the consulates, we shut down their direct access, we shut her down, she's going to ask for a bailout, and fuck her. Fuck Mexico. I fucking hate. You know what? I give Cuba a pass, but fuck Mexico. You know why? Because this country is run by the worst of the worst. And they put a Scheinbaum Jew. How did that broad get in here? Did Israel put her in there? Fuck that. Mexico, our border, burn it all down. Make it a pit of fire. That broad's going to be fucking banking outside her fucking embassy or her fucking mansion with tied up towel sheets because she's going to be dipping out because they're going to fucking come hunting her down.
Yeah, and they got all kinds of consulates all over our country that are trying to fucking operate under the, I don't buy all that.
Yeah, I'm done with her. Here we go. Peter Schweizer puts this out there. He puts this out there. He goes, look, he's right. We have Mexican migrant senators living. We have senators in Mexico living in the U.S. They are members of Mexicans, a Senate and representative of Mexican abroad. Mexico is setting up a satellite government inside the United States. Either you put a bullet in their head or you send them back. That's my attitude. I really want a scarier scenario. I want to see ICE to really go rampant. I want to see. I just don't know how they're actually doing these things. We need to be really hard and pervasive. We need to be so. I don't think anybody thinks about all the young women that were murdered and raped and tortured in the United States that no one thinks about. They don't care. They care about this shit. I don't give a fuck about anybody that's illegal in this country, whether you committed a crime or not a crime. I want you dead. I'd rather see you hung. I'd rather see you shot, but rounded out, pushed out on a plane, dropped in the middle of the ocean, and let the sharks eat you. I'm all for it. I don't really care. You don't have citizen rights. You don't even have human rights, as far as I'm concerned. You're a scumbag. You're a scumbag. Brett, you're a racist. I love it. I eat it up every. You know what the funniest thing is that the other day, Marshall, someone saw me when I was out and said they called me a racist and stuff, and I said, I love it. I go, it was up to me. I make sure you're fucking put in some fucking box and thrown in the ocean and swim out for your life. I really don't care. The thing is, I'm not looking for brown and black support. I'm not looking for anything. I'm not denying that there are American citizens that need our support. But I don't really care about people in general. I care about the white community. the white community, white women and white men. I don't care about anybody else. I think Marshall would agree.
Yeah, I mean, they don't give a shit about you. That's
And
what
why
they-
is that? Why is that?
You know what, Brett? I really think there's a lot of envy out there.
Hmm.
There's so much envy, it's seeping, especially with black women against white women.
Who are more violent and
black
upon the numbers, they kill more people
white
per
men.
100,000 capital than white people. I
Than
mean,
white
they
men.
are more violent. Black, brown, and black women kill more than white people.
They hate.
So I don't fucking care about
they hate
fucking
white. They hate
these
white
fat
people.
fucking piece of shits.
They hate white people because they're better looking, they're smarter, and all that. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. I mean, it's, sorry you ended up on the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
It's not my fucking fault.
Yeah. When you see God, asking for a reprieve.
Yeah.
Don't
Try
blame
to
me.
do better.
Don't blame me. Don't forget the role media played in covering up the stolen 2020 election. Here's CBS doing it. This is really good.
Strassman, he
We're gonna
is
get into
in Georgia, where they're having a big problem
Where they stole the
counting some
election.
of the votes.
It's not just Georgia.
This is
There are
an
all these
election
other
return watch party
sanctuary
here on the
states.
edge of Atlanta. These are mostly
It
excited
was the
Democrats
media.
because when's the last time Georgia thought of itself as a battleground state? After a record early returns and essentially a day of problem-free voting, there is now a hitch in the tabulation of votes. I'm standing in Fulton County. Fulton County includes a
They're admitting that the hitch that was there was a steal. And I move forward. And I think some people need to recognize how bad it was. Here is another thing, and I will show you, because I think in some way people need to see this, because I don't think they understand what is taking place right now. Let's play it.
Trump supporters, patriots like I imagine many of you at home, but also people who just love your families and your country, have been told that you're garbage or that you're deplorable, which is maybe the most liberal description I've ever heard. Deplorable is just not a word you typically hear from conservative America, so there's that. But for years now, many of the most powerful Democrats in the country have said this about you, and everyone on the left pretends that this is normal behavior, which of course it's not.
I'll work as hard for those who don't support me as those who do, including those chumps with the microphone out there.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
They have become a cult to a thug.
Should make you mad. Think about what the right has been called on an almost daily basis for more than 10 years. Deplorables, garbage, chumps, fascists, extremists, Nazis, racists, Islamophobic. That's the new one. Great. Sexist, white supremacists. These are awful people, and I mean that honestly. And they say all of this because
Everything that was said, you should enjoy. You should envelop. You should actually absorb everything that was said. Let me go back to it, because Rotten Box Clinton said it best.
You name it.
They have become a cult.
Square Garden.
The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
They have.
Yes, we are. And we hate you. We hate you. We loathe you. And we had opportunities to push you off buildings, chop your heads off, fucking destroy, and take back our fucking country. Yes, we hate you. I loathe you. I hate all these people. I couldn't fucking stand 1 ounce of these people. They deserve who they are. She's exactly correct. She actually epitomizes who I am. And I'm so okay with it. Yeah. Because I don't give a fuck. Because I live in a country that our wealth is being stolen from by third world scum But I'm the problem. I can't wait to the, let's just say, increase of racism. What did she say, Marshall? She said racism, Islamophobism, gayism, all these different things. When they increase, they become so intolerant. Xenophobia, when they become so intolerant that you'll have no choice to jump off the building, we don't have to push you. Go ahead, Marshall.
No, it's obviously over for these people. And you see them get more extreme by the minute. I mean, I saw today, and I sent you some clips. We didn't show them tonight, but y'all have seen them on Twitter of these representatives freaking out that they've been caught.
Yeah.
They're losing their shit. It's
Yeah, I
like
mean,
the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, I'm going to do more shows this weekend because it's cold winter, baby. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. But listen to this.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming after Carl. Listen, Carly Benon puts a Tulsi Gabbard a spy. Well, isn't she the director of the National Intelligence? So isn't that a spy agency? Isn't that the one that controls spy speak? Let's play this.
Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, dressed all in black, seemed to look the part of a spy as she moved through a restricted area where the FBI was conducting a search warrant at the Georgia election hub. But the big question is, what was she even doing there? It's a question that has set off a firestorm in D.C. intelligence circles and in Congress. Why? Let me say this from what I know as a former Deputy Assistant Director of National Intelligence. The DNI has no legal authority to conduct or oversee investigations on U.S. soil, and no DNI, since the office was created in 2004, has ever been at the scene.
But all she was there is what? Is just being there. She wasn't doing anything. She wasn't conducting anything. She wasn't overseeing anything. The FBI was. So this fucking faggot tool is making an assertion that he has no supposition to read from. She was just there. She was just there. So she can't be there. Is that what you're saying? Why don't you just say that? But you're saying, oh, they can't be there and do this. Absolutely bullshit.
Of a court-authorized FBI search warrant, period. Among the policies the DNI is there to enforce are those that generally prohibit the CIA, the NSA, and other spy agencies from collecting intelligence on Americans or conducting operations on U.S. soil, no matter what you saw on Homeland or 24. The FBI is an exception to that rule. But the FBI has its own director, Kash Patel, and without a documented connection to a hostile foreign power interfering in the 2020 Georgia election process, what
They're going out of their
is
way.
Gabbard as DNI playing in this investigation? The top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, wants answers.
This is Director of National Intelligence.
Yeah, this guy.
That is affirmatively moved. What doesn't concern the heck out of every.
I'm not going to listen to this guy. This guy is in the Epstein files, ladies and gentlemen, so you don't want to listen to this guy. He's another blowhard. But the idea that they're trying to spin that Tulsi Gabbard is a spy, can you imagine that after how they created Crossfire Hurricane and all these other redresses of grievances that they did against President Trump? How funny that is. And it's all blowing back on them.
Well, it's a little bit amazing that you got DNI Tulsi Gabbard involved after Maduro got plucked up out of Venezuela, brought back to the United States. Dominion Voting was involved from Venezuela, and now it's all connected to the voting from 2020. And now we've got this whole conundrum going on, and they're all getting nervous. Seems a little sus. I would say.
And here's the answer to your question, and we'll dip out after this. Thank you, Doral L, for the cookie. Return the freaking diamonds. Hog like 71 to give to the can. Brett, try a CBD or a golf, bro. Laugh aloud. Keep on working, dude.
CBD will work you out, brother.
What does he mean? Hog like 71. Give
gummy. Take a gummy, buddy.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something right now. I'm highly, highly, highly orchestrated. Marshall knows me. And ask Thomas. Thomas begs me to calm down when I come on his show. He knows when I come on, I'm a Spitfire.
Wired.
So don't tell me what to do. Hog like 71 gives me a cookie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't like people telling me what to do, but I appreciate your support and your love. But my attitude is simply, I am who I am. I'm Popeye.
There you go.
There you go. Listen to this shit.
And Venezuelan ties to tampering with the 2020 election? And would you consider speaking to Maduro personally in prison in New York to get some answers on Venezuela's involvement with the 2020 election?
No, I don't think I would be doing that. I think my lawyers would be very unhappy if I did. Yeah, they've learned some things. Please.
What happened regarding Venezuelan election software and Venezuelan ties to tampering with the 2020 election? And would you consider speaking to Maduro personally in prison in New York to get some answers on Venezuela's involvement with the 2020 election?
No, I don't think I would be doing that. I think my lawyers would be very unhappy if I did.
What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah. Gotta do.
You think it's comical? It's a gotcha thing and stuff. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's typical media bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Believe.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff. Let's go. Red Pill Drifter puts this out. This is a really good, smart, I think, oversee. And I think, look, did Maduro spill the beans? We talked about this all the time on Georgia election interference. Given the fact the state of Georgia contacted with Dominion voting systems to supply new ballot marketing tabulation machines. Remember, they picked up all this stuff in Georgia. The question is how much it was connected to, including Fulton ahead of 2020 election. I think that's exactly what we're seeing. Smartmatic is intentionally voting technology founded in Venezuela. Smartmatic, blah, 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 Dominion, blah, blah. And I think in some ways that is it possible to surmise that going after Maduro is what we're leading into about Georgia? We already have all the information. I mean, think about it. When you find out that a state actor, a controlled actor that was involved taking down our country, our election, just say Venezuela. Do you understand how people are going to react? You worry about people that are going to burn this country down because of ICE. You should be worried about people like me in a militia walking out with an AR-15 or 10 after it's been proven that our election was stolen and we should start just capping everybody. You should worry about me. Gays, browns, blacks, illegals. You should worry about me. When it's proven the election is stolen, no one's going to hide. We will make sure of that. But what's undoubtedly and uncontrollable is how the reaction will be, let's just say, quelled. There'll be many people like myself, maybe you and Marshall, when it's once, let's just say, reconvened or veiled or, put out as a truth, that these people can't hide. We will demand people live hanging, shootings, Gitmo, what have you and stuff. I will demand it on a daily basis. But what I will demand even further is that the recompense, the restitution that we need in this process needs to go forward. I'm so tired in so many ways that we see so much grift and graft. And yet many people are suffering in this country. They're making a dime. They're American citizens, black, brown, or white. And we watch this veil of grift. And I say, we need to interdict. We need to do something now. While everything is just unfurling out and stuff, we need to do something now before it gets out of control. But I do believe in some way, which I will put up this right now. Go ahead, Marshall, because I got one thing and I will leave it at this.
No, I think it'll all work out. I think we're heading in the right direction, in my opinion.
You think so?
I think, yeah. I think everything is going as planned.
As planned as what?
It's a little ugly. No, well, the whole thing, all of it, with the Venezuela deal, with the Cuban deal, with our hemispheric security. That's all being dealt with, and it's a lot. You know, these riots and all that. That's also exposing a ton of all these people that are involved with this shit. So there's a whole lot that's going on all at once, and I think this year, this is only what, we're not even into February yet, and we're already doing all this. Think about it. That's a lot. That's a huge load.
Yeah, February 24th, we're gonna have a State of the Union. How interesting is that gonna be?
I mean, we've got a huge load on the first month of this year. Think about it. Think about all the things that we're going through right now, just in the first month of this year. I believe that this year is going to be huge. It's going to be mind-blowing, in my opinion.
Well, I'm trying to find something that was put in here, so give me a little pause and stuff. I wanted to cover this, but apparently I don't have it. I don't know what happened. It was something I wanted to talk about regarding the Civil War that's taking place, but I guess in some manner and
pull it up for Monday.
I don't know where it's at. I mean, I just think
wherever it is, save it for Monday. I mean, if you got it.
No, I'm trying to look at this in a different manner and stuff. I'll leave you with this because realistically, I think in some way, what I want to say to you is this. I want to say this. So I already dropped the gold pills. So you had your gold pills. So thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. And appreciate what we're doing and stuff. Thank you, Scott, for being here. The timing is interesting. Discussing the new Fed chair and everything that is happening. I think realistically where we're going, what is taking place, the de facto situation that Governor Retard has talked about in practice, even if it's officially recognized or not by law or formal pass, what is actually happening. That is what is supposed to be legally happening. The idea that we have still the propagated narrative, the disinfo narrative, and the protection of this because they think that in some way they can undercut, Tom Homan and they can get away with it. I would say be careful of what you're walking into. None of these people that are protesting, none of these people have jobs. You look at the numbers, it's insane. Everybody doesn't have work. I would say in some way, as President Trump, we're looking at the numbers, we're looking at the people, we're going to go after them and arrest them. That's fantastic. You're having no peaceful protest. Your time is up. But I want substantial crimes levied against these people. We need to discern between what is a peaceful protest, a violent uprising, a rebellion. It needs to be discernible. We can no longer continue with this stuff. These are the things we must continue going forward. I'll show you this, and we'll have a good night.
Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord,
I think it's fantastic. It was put out recently. Let me break this down. It just happened the other day. President Trump's burner account. Donald Trump just posted that 40 seconds ago. I think everything about the 2020 stolen election is going to pass, and it will change everything, the trajectory, how we look at things. By the way, if you didn't know that in the conference of the Supreme Court, the Lloyd Brunson case has moved forward. I just want to let everybody know. What does that mean? Is that 5 judges will be looking at moving this forward onto the table of discussing everything. Now, do you know how massive this is? Do you know how of a massive win we are? We are winning so big, you have no idea. We're about to expose the 2020 stolen election, which creeps into everything, that breaks down everything, that controls everything, including Minnesota, including Arizona, all the swing states, all the fucking states that were stolen that time that were recovered later on. Everything is about to change. And then when you realize that our elections are stolen, and as President Trump has said so eloquently this year, how can we have a 2026 midterm election? And I say, well, if half of Congress has been arrested or dissolved or disappeared, you can't. What say you, Marshall, as we dip out?
Yeah, that's about it. Congress is probably going to be gone. So,
how much of Congress do you think will be gone prior to or after the fact of the Lloyd Brunson case? That's a very good, let's just say, supposition that we're going
I
to
think
play
about
with.
90%, if not more.
Do you think it's possible we get to that point, which will be a really big marker for people to understand and a prevailing viewpoint about where our country is going in some way? It's not we're entering in a civil war. You know, I said that I use the term a de facto situation that exists in practice, even if it isn't officially recognized by law or formal rules. I saw Glenn Beck talk about this and how Tim Walz is basically using this supposition to push back as a Fort Sumter or a John Brown, but has no, like you should say, no realist, let's just say, acumen to support his plan of action. And I think in some way that what is supposed to legally happen versus not really will be rest upon on how they act. I mean, clearly the governor is not going to give up. He's not. Why would he? Why would he surrender? You think the mayor is going to do it? They have no choice. Everything you're seeing is an artifice. So go ahead, Marshall.
We just have to see how it plays out. I mean, I think it's heading. They don't have a choice.
Well, of course they don't have a choice. But when is that choice come into focus?
I don't know. I mean, all we can do is wait and watch, see what happens. I don't think we can just sit here and go, well, we know what's going to happen, because we don't.
No, we don't.
That's I do believe we are absolutely heading into the right direction, man.
No, I mean,
What do you
everything
think
is grand.
freaking
I
out?
mean,
All these liberals are freaking out big time.
no,
Whole
Tom
thing
Homan
is
taking
crumbling
over, I was
around
very surprised. I mean, is he
all
going to take over?
crumbling around them. There's
Well,
no
yeah.
stopping this.
Yeah.
No stopping it. So, well, all we can do is just, let the little placebo guys, like what was the guy? The guy with the Fed. He's nothing but a placeholder. The guy that Trump put in with the Fed. He's a placeholder.
Right.
All this shit is being deconstructed and reconstructed,
Yeah.
my opinion. And
I agree.
Believe it.
Well, that's our show for tonight. I will see everybody next week. I want to thank Marshall. I appreciate it. Thank everybody for supporting the platform. We're over our time. Have a good evening. It's going to be very cold this weekend. So bundle up, be safe, be well, and God bless you. Ciao, Bella.
Good night.